Hi everyone, this is Becca from Becca's Music Room. I am a teacher blogger who talks about teacher tips, teacher life, teacher authors, and all sorts of other things that will hopefully make your life just a little bit easier. Today I'm here to talk about how I run my blog and my Teachers Pay Teachers shop in all of 5 hours a week. You heard me. 5 hours. It is possible and you can do it too. I have a couple little tips to help you get there, and in the future I'm going to be posting a video that is actually taking you along with me all day as I am working on different things. So you can actually see me working. It's not going to be 5 hours long, but it'll kind of be like, hey, this is what I'm working on, this is how long I'm doing it for, all those kind of things. If you're interested in that, then make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss when it comes out, and make sure if you find this video helpful that you like, subscribe, and share to help other people find it as well. So the first thing you need to help run your blog or Etsy shop or Teachers Pay Teachers or whatever you do in 5 hours or less is to have short, consistent work times. Yes, short, consistent work times. So we would all love to be able to sit down for hours and hours and hours. But if you're watching these videos, then you are probably a full-time teacher and balancing some kind of teacherpreneur activity or side hustle on top of that. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for, is those people. If you are one of those, then this is really important. You don't have to carve out one night where you sit down for hours and hours and hours and work. You can do it in short amounts of time. And you know what happens? You normally get more things done in a short amount of time because that clock is ticking and you know you only have a certain amount of time. Personally, I work for half an hour every morning before I go to school. It's really great because there is that time that I absolutely have to cut off because otherwise I will be late for my, normal job, and I can't do that. So that's really helpful for me because it gives me a very clear constraint. And at first I thought this wasn't going to end well because I had a lot of stuff to do and not a lot of time. But I found that having that restraint, that half an hour, the fact that I only had half an hour to get whatever I needed done made me work really quickly and very, very efficiently. So now I can write a blog post in half an hour, and I can edit and add graphics and all those kind of things to my blog post in half an hour. So I do the majority of my work in that half an hour in the morning. Of course, that only adds up to 2.5 hours, and I'm telling you I run it in about 5 hours because that's a pretty normal amount of time. I do work outside of that half hour in the morning, but it's not as consistent. So that half hour in the morning is when I do what absolutely has to be done for my business to run. Which takes me to step 2. Figure out what your business has to have to run and how quickly you can get that done. So for me, my blog is my #1 priority, and for my blog to keep running, I have to write blog posts, edit blog posts, make graphics, send emails, and then whatever else I want. Those are the things that I focus on. I know those are the things I have to do for my business to keep going. And so that is the first thing I work on in the week. That is my #1 priority, and everything else is just extra. So if I'm going to work on something on Monday morning, it's going to be one of those very, very important top #1 things. That way I make sure it gets done, because it has to get done, or, if I don't have blog posts, then there's nothing for people to read. That's gonna take me to my 3rd thing. So once you have really short, consistent work times, you know what you need to do in order to keep your business running, then you need to make it a habit to get those things done. So for me, I told you I have a half an hour in the morning that I work every single day, and that's a habit, obviously, but even more than that, I have the habit of writing my blog posts on Monday. So I know Monday morning I get up and I'm gonna write a blog post. Knowing that means that I don't open my computer and be like, oh, well, I need to do this, and I need to do that, and I need to do that, and waste a bunch of time. I know on Mondays I write blog posts because that's what's assigned to that day. On Tuesday, I have assigned editing my blog posts. On Wednesday, I have assigned graphics. On Thursdays, if I need to write an email, then I write an email. And on Fridays is kind of just an open day that I get to do whatever I want, which is normally doing Teachers Pay Teachers things, and occasionally it's editing videos. Once you have made it a habit that you do something on a particular day, it is so much easier to get done. Not only do you not waste time thinking about what you're planning on doing, but it also helps you procrastinate less. I don't procrastinate writing my blog post because I know on Monday I'm gonna write a blog post, and I have to write a blog post because I only have half an hour to get it done. Of course, like I said, on Fridays I do have some extra time, so if it doesn't get done or if there's a 4-day week or something like that, it's not the end of the world, but I still have it in my brain that I have to write my blog post on Monday because that's what I do. And it makes it really easy to not procrastinate and not, dread doing it or anything like that. I don't mind blog posts, but other things I'm not as much of a fan of. Really, it applies to my graphics. I hate making graphics. It's my least favorite thing in probably the world. It's my least favorite thing. Like, if I was going to sub something out to an assistant, that would be the very first thing that I would do, is get rid of having to make graphics. I just can't stand them. I really just can't stand them. But I know that on Wednesdays I make my graphics, and I know that I can't post my blog post until my graphics are up. So it's very important for me to get that done. And knowing I do it on Wednesday, it makes it so that I don't procrastinate the task that I'm not a huge fan of. Now you might think, well, it's great that you write blog posts on Mondays, but what do you write about? Do you spend a bunch of time trying to think about what you're gonna write? No, I don't. No, I do not. I don't think a lot about what I'm going to write because I already have it planned. I am very, very big on planning. In some of my other videos, you might already have seen me talk about planning or seen my plan with me for the week at school or something else. I personally do monthly planning. So at the beginning of each month, or really the end of the month before, I sit down and I say, okay, I need to write 4 blog posts this month. I need to have 8 videos. I need to do this and that and whatever. And then I look through all my blog post ideas and say, well, okay, this would be fun and this would be fun. And then if I know that I'm gonna have something for a Teachers Pay Teachers product or something, and I just pick 4 things while I'm sitting there with all my ideas in front of me, and then I put it on my calendar for Monday. And so every Monday I open up my planner and it says, write blog post, and then it says the title of the blog post that I want to write. Now, if I come up with a better idea, I definitely am okay with switching it, but my main thought process is that that is the thing that I'm going to do. So not only do I not have to worry about what I'm going to do, but I don't even have to worry about what I'm going to write because I've already planned it ahead of time. My monthly planning takes probably 15 to 20 minutes each month and saves me way more than that. Brian Tracy, one of my favorite planning author people, wrote in his book that every minute you spend planning saves you 10 minutes of not knowing what to do. So if you spend 20 minutes planning, that's 200 minutes that you could be sitting around not knowing what to do, that you could have wasted. So even though it seems like, oh, I have to sit down and decide what I'm going to do, it makes a big difference. And of course, you don't have to do a monthly plan. You could do a weekly plan. You could do a yearly plan. You could do a quarterly plan. You can do whatever you want. But especially if you are having trouble with things like coming up with blog posts or deciding when to do what, I would really encourage you to make some sort of plan so that you don't have to wonder about it when you actually sit down to work. The last thing I'm going to say is find little tasks that can be done outside of your work time. So a few examples of that would be like posting to Instagram or posting something on Pinterest. Social media is an excellent example. I'm not gonna sit down at 5 o'clock in the morning and write out my Instagram stories for the day. I'm just gonna do them as they come. I might snap a picture at lunch. I might do it while I'm making dinner or while I'm watching TV or those kind of things where it's not taking up extra time, but I'm not doing it during my actual work time. I find this really helpful because I can focus on larger projects such as writing blog posts and making Teachers Pay Teachers products during my actual office hours and get more done. Because those are things that I really can't do while I'm making dinner. All right, so those are a few of my tips to help you run your blog in 5 hours or less. Of course, depending on what you're doing with your Teachers Pay Teachers shop and your blog and what your goals are, it might be a little bit more than that and it might be a little bit less, but once you figure out exactly what has to be done to keep your business running and to grow it and how quickly you can get that done in your short, consistent work times, it will really help make you more efficient and more productive and get more done in a shorter amount of time. Comment down below and let me know how much you have been working on your side hustle and if you have any tips for productivity to help share with everybody else. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share so that other people can help find it, and have a wonderful week.